The games have been excellent football games between the two schools, so I believe it should be another one.
Coach, last year, 1-point loss to Marshall, you go for 2. I mean, coming into this season, do you think the guys have maybe, not revenge on the mind, but they really want to win this one?
Well, they want to win them all, obviously, you know, and our approach is, you know, and I bore you to death with our approach and taking it one game at a time, but that's obviously held up pretty well for us. And, you know, and revenge, you know, that's really not a word that we really use in the program. You know, we really want to be about being as good as we can be, and that really has nothing to do with the opponent. We just need to prepare hard and well, play our best football, and then when you do that, you see where things end up. And they've been good games. They've been very close games. The 2 times we played in our times, once in the bowl and once last year, and so you know, obviously we're hoping to make it work this time.
Rivalry game. How much more does that mean to the team itself?
Well, teams always look at rivalries, you know, and you know, I'm sure Marshall's looking at it very much that way. Our team is looking at it very much that way, but again, you know, as far as I'm concerned, every team's a rival, you know, because they either go in the win column for you, or they go in the loss column for you, and they all add up at the end, and so we'll get ready to play as good a football game as we can play.
Was out last game. Any update on his status for this week?
Still questionable. You know, he's making some progress. Where he'll be at game time, I guess, remains to be seen.
This is the first game where you guys don't enter as a heavy favorite. Do you prepare any differently for this game, enter this game any differently than the past two?
No, not really. You know, we try to be very thorough in our preparation, try to cover all the bases. You know, regardless of whether we're a 20-point favorite, I guess in the first game maybe we were a touchdown favorite, which is not being a heavy favorite. You know, it really makes no difference in terms of your preparation for the game. You just got to get everything covered and be as thorough as you can be as a coaching staff. Get your players in tune to what the other team's all about. Offensively, defensively, special teams. There's so many things that can go awry, and just so many things that can affect the outcome of a game, and you want to do the best you can to get all those things covered.
Marshall probably going to have a little bit stiffer defense than Gardner-Webb and New Mexico State. How are you planning on preparing for that?
Well, I would bet on that. You know, that just watching them on tape, they're a very good defensive football team, very physical. They've got good size. They have seniors across the board at the linebacking core. Curry, of course, as a rush-in, is one of the very best in the country, and so they got the right makeup of players to have an excellent defensive football team. You know, no one's really run on them much. You know, they've done a good job of forcing turnovers. I believe it's 3 interceptions and 3 fumble recoveries that they have. So, you know, they've got, I believe, 6 interceptions on the year, which is, or excuse me, 6 turnovers on the year. So their turnover ratio is excellent. You know, and they force those turnovers as a defensive unit, and that's something that, you know, we've lost these first 2 ball games. I guess it was 3-3, but I count the hard squib kick that deflected off of one of our players as a turnover. So in which case we lost both games in terms of the turnover ratio. So that's a concern going in. We're going to have to take great care of the ball. We're going to have to produce a few turnovers ourselves.
Special teams has been a focus for you guys since week 1. Obviously a place you want to get better at. What do you need to do this week to do that?
Well, one of the key things we'll have to do is stop their return guys. You know, they're second in the country in punt returns. So far this year, we haven't allowed a return. A lot of that has been really good punting in terms of Paul. Some of it has been bad punting to where punts couldn't be fielded. And so when you combine that, something's got to give. and so we're going to have to do a great job of getting. They've blocked a punt for TD against West Virginia, and so they've got the capability of getting it done on the scoreboard, either by blocking the punt or by returning the punt. So our punting game has got to really hold up. We're pretty good at returning punts ourselves. We got to get a little bit better at it, though. We've returned one on the year. We need to return several more. The kickoff game, I think both teams have the ability to have good kickoff coverage because both teams have good athletes. And then kickoff returns, they're dangerous there also because of their return guys.
Travis carrying the ball in Brazil, both back doing punt returns. Is there any rhyme or reason as to who you're putting back there?
Well, you know, Levon was our starter, obviously, till he got hurt and missed last season, and so we're giving him every opportunity. And you know, he's a senior, and I think they're both guys that can take it the distance. You know, so they'll both have opportunities to get returns this year.
Gardner Webb and New Mexico State are in, you know, two pretty different style offenses. Marshall may be a little more balanced. How do you make sure you're strong both up front on defense and in your secondary?
Well, just by playing sound football and not having breakdowns. You know, it's not going to work if we have a broken coverage or if we're not filling the gap, and because they're going to take advantage of those situations, and so we're going to have to be a very, very sound football team as we play these guys, and not give them big plays, you know, and they've been able to produce big plays, so that's something that we've got to try to keep from happening. They got a very young quarterback, been really impressive so far as a freshman quarterback. I think, you know, showed improvement, played well his first game, but showed improvement this last game, and I think will be an excellent quarterback, obviously throughout the rest of the year, so we'll have our hands full there.
Are there any specific areas where you're looking for Tyler to take big strides between, you know, the first 2 games and maybe the next 2 games?
Well, he's made the kind of progress we've wanted him to make, and he started off the way we wanted him to start off. You know, you're always a little uncertain as to the quarterback position when a player's never started at that spot and has had limited reps, how he's going to handle it. Everything leading up to our first game kind of indicated that Tyler would handle it extremely well. He has done that. You know, this past game, no interceptions, 2 touchdowns, throwing the ball well, throwing it on time, took some shots, you know, and showed just how tough he is. I think the players on our football team, I think, appreciate a quarterback of that caliber, that not only can he get things done mechanically and is good at doing things, but when he shows toughness. Now, Tyler has done that. We don't really want him to do that all season long. You know, we'd like to kind of make sure that he doesn't take those kind of shots. And but in general, that'll be tough to keep from happening in terms of a pass rush, because they've done a great job in sacking people, and of course that comes from their interior line, but they do a fair amount of stunning too, which has helped them in that.
Any other questions?
You mentioned Marshall as a freshman quarterback. Ohio defensive line was stellar this past week, and do you see that playing a large factor in this week's game as well? Yeah, that'll really play a role in what gets done. You know, if they're able to control the line of scrimmage, then we're going to have our hands really full. And you know, our defensive line, I've been really impressed with our defensive line and how they've responded for guys that haven't been starters. And I think we've got really good speed. I think we've got really good quickness in the defensive line. I think they're aggressive, they're tough, they love to play the game, and so they're coming along as well as I'd have hoped for, maybe better. And but you know, this will be their true test, and so the matchups will be strong, physical matchups, I think, for both teams.
Keaton Stadium is supposed to be pretty packed this weekend. Are you expecting, you know, or how much are you hoping for a true home field advantage?
would love it, and you know, that's always certainly a plus. And I would like to take this moment and really congratulate and pat on the back our student body. You know, we had a great ozone turnout, and that's always huge for the players when they see the student body turning out, and so we hope to get another great student body turnout as well as people in the community, and have the place packed, and have it be jumping, and that would be great.